I posted a screenshot of me promoting the Diamond 4 and someone had asked for a guide. I don't really have like a guide prepared, but like I can go over a couple things that help me specifically, and then I'll go over like a couple of other things that might help other people. The main thing is like if you play, you should probably try to focus on improving instead of the wins and the losses and stuff like that. Mostly because if you just play to improve, like eventually, if you do improve, the wins will just come. Like it's just facts. And you're less likely to get frustrated when you go like when you lose a game or if you go on a loss streak or whatever. And it's just overall healthier for your like mental state when trying to play the game. The other thing is just trying to play as well as you can every single game. Um, and I mean, because that's all you can really control. Like you can't do anything about your teammates. And then eventually, if you have been on like a loss streak and it's like actually because of things out of your control, eventually it's gonna flip, and then you'll just start winning, and it doesn't matter. It's usually just a matter of playing enough games to like even everything out. Another thing would be if you get tilted, just take a break or come back the next day. There's literally no reason to keep playing. You're just gonna keep playing worse and worse, especially if you just keep getting more and more upset. Not really much merit to that. And like the amount of times I get into like a champs like lobby, and there are people already yelling at each other, and nothing's even happened yet. Like the game has not started. We're in champion selection. Like there's no bans, there's no picks, or sometimes it's because of a pick like they just don't like, but they're already upset from like a previous game and they saw a champion that they saw in their last game or something. They're already yelling at their teammates. It's crazy. Like the amount of times like I've seen that and that game is auto loss. Like just try not to keep queuing if you get tilted. Like there's literally no benefit. Also, don't just like stop playing just because you went on a loss streak, unless of course you do get tilted by that loss streak. But like literally, don't just quit because of that. Like there's eventually you're gonna start losing games. It happens. Like it happens to literally everyone. You're just gonna start losing. Sometimes it is completely out of your control. You just gotta play enough to outweigh that. It happens. Don't like get discouraged just because of that. Another thing that I do specifically is I just ignore every single pick order swap request. Like I because I checked, and the amount of times people are in fourth or fifth pick, well it doesn't even matter which pick they are. If they get counter pick, I've seen a lot of people, they just look up, and you can just tell because the champion is not in their history whatsoever. Like not in the current season, not in past seasons. They just don't play it. It's not in their normal games, nothing. But they look on like a website, like, oh, what counters this champion? They lock it in, and then when you watch them like play it, obviously in the lane or in that like counter pick, whatever, they look horrible because they don't play the character, so they don't even know why it's a counter a lot of times, and then they just lose anyway, and now they're useless for the rest of the game because not only are they behind, but they can't play it. So it's like they are literally worthless. Respectfully, happens, I guess, but I refuse every single one because the the chances of them just picking something they actually know how to play when they're forced to blind pick is way higher. So, and I checked, and I win way more games when I don't swap. Like unironically, I win way more games when I don't swap. And I know the solo laners are gonna be upset with me, but I'm just speaking on my specific experience. If you look at your like, just check your like op.gg and see if you have something similar going on. If you do, I would highly recommend you do the exact same, and I will stand by that 100%. I do not care. The last thing that I can think of is like I see a lot of people, they look at a tier list and then they immediately swap their champ pool with like no practice whatsoever, just because the champion they play is like in C or D tier or something like that, and then another champ is in S tier. But a lot of times I think that is just objectively wrong. Don't do that. Because one, you should play what you actually want to play, because you're going to be more motivated to play. Two, if like let's say it's not something like a Malphite or a Garen, right? Like those two champs, you could probably just lock it in, and then within a few games you're comfortable, like whatever. But I see a lot of people just randomly go from like, oh, like they have like 250 games of, I don't know, like Ari, right? And then I don't know where they're just like, well, this tier list said I should play Syndra, but it's like they've never played Syndra, so and a lot of those people, they just queue up immediately for rank. They just like, oh well, this champ's so good, like I should just be able to get a free win regardless of the fact that I don't play it, and it just doesn't work like that. Um, I 100% believe, like, for the most part, for the mass majority of people, just literally just play whatever you want to play. Now, if the only thing you are concerned about is winning, then I mean, by all means, just like look at what like people are saying is the strongest and just lock that in. But for everybody else, literally just play what you want. You're going to be way more motivated. You obviously have more game time. Just do that instead. You're going to be way more useful on that character than you are on that other character that you don't actually have any kind of attachment to whatsoever, and you don't have game time and all that stuff. But I mean, that's pretty much it. I don't really have much else. If I think of something else, I'll probably record again. But also, if you someone specifically has like a question, I will do my best to help. If I don't have the answer, I will just probably tell you I don't have the answer. But that's about it. Hope you guys have a good day, and I will probably stream in like an hour or so.